Constructive summer, I request good day sunshine, the Sundays with summertime. First day of summer.
That's great, right?
Okay, sure. This money is happening this week. Today in the Twin Cities. Sunny, in the upper 70s.
All right, we got the coil pod out of the kiln. I'm gonna bring the card out right now. Let's talk about how to glaze this thing.
Before. We have outdoor Jill Riley, who is super producer Anna, Jade, Exfoliates, all of this coffee breaks summer breeze. So just picture your eyes. Picture yourself trying to get into the hammock, or be falling out once, getting tangled like I would be, then getting back into the hammock.
Here we go. Check the part. If you fired your coil pod, but don't lift it by a handle. The handle is not strong enough until there's weight. We'll not pick them up by their handle yet, please. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're ready to go. Good morning. Welcome to our last Monday. Welcome to our second to the last day of class in general. This is kind of crazy. It's gone by in the blink of an eye. I'm going to shut this door. So Despite the fact that we're 2 days from the end of the trimester, because honestly, there is going to be nothing for you on Thursday and Friday of this week, unless you're really behind on something and you have other things in your camera roll that you can still turn in. Then you might be doing something Thursday and Friday, but there's no Google Meets. There's no assignments I'm going to post on Schoology Thursday and Friday. It's really all about today and tomorrow. So I'm going to go over what exactly your responsibilities are today and tomorrow. And I hope it's not confusing because it's going to be different for seniors than it is for the rest of us. So raise your hand if you're a senior. One senior. So I'm talking directly to you. For seniors who are in person, you're going to get half the class period to glaze today, and then the other half is going to be cleaning. And that's your cleaning final, and it's worth 50 points. People at home, seniors at home, you're going to be cleaning your home studio and packing up all your stuff in your swag bag and bringing all your tools, all your clay, all your dry projects back to school and submitting a photo of your clean studio and bringing all your swag bag back, all your clay and tools and supplies are each worth 50 points. So seniors at home, you have potentially 100 points that you're gaining today. So I'll be touching base with you to see when you're planning to bring in your swag bags in a moment. So that's the seniors. Everybody else, you're going to do that tomorrow. So today, for my 9th through 11th graders, you're just going to be glazing today because you're done with your coil project at this point. If you're not done with your coil project, make sure you finish that, record your video, do your artist statement. But otherwise, you should be glazing today. And a ton of, actually, all the things that you wanted me to fire got fired. They're all in this cart. I moved everything. So animals are on here now, loopholes are on here now, coil projects are on here now. I do want to caution you not to use the handle of your coil project right now because they're not 100% strong until after they're glazed. There's a couple of people whose handles cracked a little bit. So I want to see those folks before they start glazing because I'll show you how to fix those cracks. And I'm going to try as best I can now to get everybody's pieces glaze fired before the end of the week. And so you can have your pieces to take home with you before summer break. So you can actually use them over summer break. So everybody tomorrow who's in person, you'll have a cleaning final tomorrow. It's worth 50 points. You're just going to help clean this whole dang room. I will give you a job or probably several jobs to do throughout the hour, and you'll be working on cleaning. People who are at home tomorrow, you're going to do the home cleaning. You're going to bring back the swag bag, and so you'll have that tomorrow if you're not a senior. Okay, so any questions on this finals stuff? What you're graded on, what my expectations are for the next 2 days? It's hopefully pretty straightforward. Right now, the 2 finals are only, it says that they're due today, and that's for seniors. So I'll extend the due date for the rest of you till tomorrow, because obviously the majority of you are not doing the cleaning final until tomorrow. Okay, so for the majority of us who are here in person, today is all about glazing. So please look up on the screen. This is kind of a rundown of the 3 different ways that you can glaze in my room, and it's kind of the synopsis of what you would do and why you would do that. So the first kind of glaze is what we did on our animal project, which is what is over here in these jars. These are low fire glazes. They're very predictable. They don't run. They're shiny. They're colorful. So if you still have an animal to glaze, these are the glazes you're using, and you're going to put your animal on one of those bottom 2 shelves. If you have a leaf bowl to glaze, and there's a ton of leaf bowls over there yet, then I'm going to recommend using the under glazes, where you paint it into the impressions, wipe it off, and then dip your project in the high fire clear, and then put it on the top 2 levels of that cart. Now, the coiled vessel is the one that's new today. And so that's what I want to talk a little bit more about glazing the coiled vessel, because for that, you get to entirely dip that piece in a whole different array of colors. So this is an old coil project from earlier in the trimester, so I'm just going to glaze this one today. I have dip glazes for you. These are all high fire glazes. I have dip glazes here on this table. There are some here on this table, and then there are 2 over on that table. And the reason that those 2 are quarantined over there is because they're not food safe, but that doesn't really matter when we're glazing bases because we're not going to eat or drink out of these. The only exception, I guess, if you've done a pitcher, and if you're going to put lemonade in that pitcher or something you would drink, then you wouldn't want to do these glazes on the inside. You can do them on the outside, that's fine, because food doesn't come into contact with that. But you wouldn't use those 2 glazes on the inside. They're great looking glazes, just not for coming into contact with food. So with any of these glazes, all these are food safe, all these are food safe, and How these work is you have to first pour some of the glaze, whatever you want to be on the inside. That's called the liner glaze. That comes first. So all of these glazes over here have a stir stick in them. And this is a one called Lake Effect White. And I'm just going to grab a scoop. There's scoops in a bucket over here. And I'm going to put 2 scoops of this Lake Effect White in the jar. And then I'm going to pour it back out. Obviously, I can't leave it in there. And if I turn the pot, as I pour it out, it ends up coating the whole inside. So I do that 1 time. Pouring it in is like painting it by hand 3 times. So obviously, it's way quicker. So then I would definitely clean my cup so it's ready for the next person. Then the beautiful thing about these high fire glazes is that when you combine them, they make unpredictable third colors that you can never really gauge like how they would turn out. Let me see if I can show you a good example. Here. So this is a glaze over there that we have called Really Red. And then dipped on top of it is a glaze called Rutile Blue. So the bottom half was dipped in the red, the top half was dipped in the blue. And where they mixed, they made this burgundy color. There's this little waterfall effect they mix that's kind of bluish white. So the beautiful thing about these glazes is that when they mix, they create these other unpredictable, fun combinations. So I'm going to look at the test tiles. Each of these glazes has a test tile. And I'm going to make some choices about what I want to use. I'm going to say Rutile Blue, because this is like honestly one of our best glazes. It always turns out really good. So I'm going to dip the bottom half in that Rutile Blue, and then just let it drip into the bucket. And I know I glazed the bottom, but I'm going to come back and wipe it off, because obviously I can't leave that glaze on the bottom, or my pot would super glue itself into the kiln. So that would be bad. So I'm going to let that drip for a little bit, and maybe while I'm waiting for it to drip, I'll just bring it over to the sink and wipe off that bottom. So a wet sponge takes it off really quick. So the reason I'm waiting for it to dry is because if I dip it now in a second color, I don't want this color to mix with what's in the bucket of the second color. So I'm just being patient. If I set it like this, it'll start to drip. So you want to be leery of that. Like you don't want those drips to go into the area where you don't want them to go. So I'm trying to hold it in such a way that the drips kind of stay put until they dry. Then for my second color, let's see, I have Rutile Blue. And I'll mix it with a good color. How about Frosted Mint? Frosted Mint is kind of a pale green. That could look cool where they overlap. So I'm going to mix that up, make sure that that's all stirred up. And then I'm going to dip it. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm going to dip it. I'll hold this bucket here so the drips are okay. So now the Frosted Mint and the Rutile Blue have mixed in the center. And what they're going to make, I have no idea, because I've never seen that combination before. So, and you can see the Frosted Mint went to the inside a little bit, so it's going to overlap the white a little bit. But that'll make a whole new color too. So there's kind of 2 different experiments going on here where the 3 different colors have overlapped. So again, I'm letting it dry like this. If I were to flip this over, I might get little drips of green onto my Rutile Blue. I don't want that. So I'm waiting for it to dry. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to double check the bottom, see one of my Rutile Blue bits kind of snuck under there. So I'm going to have to wipe that again. And then it's just going to go on the cart. So you can see that the dipping it is way quicker. It's a quicker way to glaze, and it's kind of unpredictable. There's high risk because you don't know how it's going to turn out, but oftentimes it's also high reward. So that's kind of why I provide these other glazes here for you. The thing about these glazes too is if you let them sit in there too long, the glaze is just going to keep building up and building up and building up on that surface, and it's more likely that it's going to run off your pot in the kiln, and it's going to fuse your pot in the fire. So it's seriously quick dip, as quick as you can. And if your glazes are going to overlap, they have to overlap at least at the halfway point or higher. That way, if they drip and kind of create a nice waterfall effect, it's not going to drip so far down that it's going to fuse your pot in the kiln. Okay. So every glaze has a test tile. Feel free to check them out as you're making your choices. If you would rather take your coil pot and glaze it with one of the paint-on low fire glazes or the under glazes or whatever, you can certainly do that. Those are options for you as well. It's just that the dip glazes are a new option, so I wanted to explain that to you. All right, so I'm going to leave this up on the screen as a reminder of what these different glazes do. Questions that you have for me? Okay. So I need to touch base with the VLA kids. I'm going to say this to the people who have cracks in their handles. The reason that happened is the handles that are thin dry really quick. The body of your pots dries really slow because they were thicker. So they just shrank at different rates. So that's why you might have cracks in your pots. So to fix that, oh no, that is a big crack. Shoot. Okay. Actually, there's a way to fix that, Thomas. So what I would ask is that those of you who have cracks in your handles, wait to start glazing. Because to fix that, you kind of have to fix it before you start glazing. So I got to check in with the VLA kids. So maybe look around, see what the different color options are, but don't do any glazing until we fixed your handle. And I'll come out and I'll call you over to show you that. All right. Any questions at all about glazing? Great. One other thing I'm going to do today, I'm going to do this for VLA kids, and I'm also going to do it for you who are in person. I'm going to be calling each of you over individually to the back corner of the room, so it's semi-private. And I'm just going to go over what you might be missing. So you know exactly for sure what you still could get in to still improve your grade. Okay, I'm even going to call you back if you're not missing anything, because I'll just tell you what a good job you've done. So just be aware of that. I will be calling you back later in the afternoon. All right, people who are here, go ahead, get to glazing. Try and glaze everything today if you can. People at home, stay on the line. Oh, shoot. That was not what I meant to do. Caitlin, would you turn on the lights, please? Thank you. Okay. And I have no cursor, so that's fun. Here we go. Sorry guys, I'll be right with you. Okay, or never mind. I'm with you now. Hi. Let's see. So I'm going to stop recording in a moment, and I'm going to create breakout rooms, and I'm going to ask each of you to go into a breakout room so that you and I can talk privately about where you're at in my class. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you, seniors, you have to clean your home studio, snap a picture, and upload it today by 3 for 50 points. Seniors, you also have to bring back your swag bag. Ideally today. I'm supposed to have all senior grades done today, so people know whether they're going to graduate or not. So seniors, if you can bring your swag bag and any dry clay, dry projects, wet clay, your slip container full of slip. You don't need to empty it at home. You'll do that here. Your tools, bring everything back. You don't even really have to clean your tools at home because I don't want clay to go down your drain at home. Bring all your dirty stuff here and you'll clean it here. So you're going to be bringing it to my classroom. And you'll clean it here in my classroom. And that'll be your other 50 points is bringing your swag bag back. So, and if you're quarantining, same. You're going to have to bring all the stuff that I've given you back to school so that I can give you the points. And you'll also have that swag bag 50-point grade. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording.